Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So today we are talking about the case of missing brothers Orson and Orrin West. It's a new case that's still developing, so there will be more information in the future. So this case takes place in California City, a small town with a population of only 14,000. Orson and Orrin West are 3 and 4-year-old brothers who went missing or were reported missing on December 21st. These two brothers were in foster care and eventually adopted by a couple named Trezell West and Jacqueline West. This couple had 6 children in their home, including the 2 boys. 2 of the other children were also adopted, and the other 2 children were biologically related to the Wests. Here's Orrin. He is described as 3 feet tall, 35 pounds, and was last seen in a black sweater and dark pants. Orrin is said to have a fractured lower left leg, or he is healing from a fractured leg. I get conflicting reports on this one. Orson West is 2.5 feet tall, 40 pounds, and was also last seen in a black shirt as well. So here's the timeline. On Monday, December 20th, around 5:45 p.m., the 2 brothers were reported missing by their adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West. They reported that the young boys were playing with chalk on their back patio, and they had sent them outside because Jacqueline was wrapping Christmas presents. Trezell said he was gathering firewood around that time. He then said he realized the gate was left open to the yard and noticed the boys were gone. He claims that he drove around the neighborhood looking for them, but he couldn't find them. So here is a clip of the interview of the couple explaining what happened.
Okay. It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest 2 would go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. We keep them close. So I was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them now. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, "Did you see the boys?" She said, "No, they should be outside playing with chalk." I said, "Well, I didn't see them," so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open, and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that didn't pan out, I got in the van. I looked down the street in both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see them. So then I came home and I told my wife we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going. So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold.
And here's an update of the police chief talking to the media about some updates.
From every neighbor you guys spoke to, not a single sight of them.
No.
When was the most recent that a neighbor cited they've seen the kids?
None of the neighbors have seen the kids.
Ever?
No.
At what point did you guys decide to bring out dogs to try to help out in this investigation?
Done that. It's been done multiple times.
And the canines consistently found that the scent of the children did not leave the house?
Correct.
So police are obviously doing everything that they can to find them. They brought scent dogs to the West home, and the dogs picked up on the scent inside of the home, but they could not find a scent of the boys anywhere outside of the home. Volunteers and police have been searching since day 1. Police took the adoptive parents in for questioning, and the FBI did a thorough search of the West home. They even dug up the yard, cut open their walls, and confiscated all of their technology. Again, volunteers have been on this since day 1. They have searched the desert and also near the West previous home in Bakersfield. The police chief has confirmed that no neighbors have ever seen Orson or Orrin. The investigators left with bags of evidence, and their van was also confiscated. There hasn't been an update about that yet. Now, here's something that's interesting. When Trezell speaks about the boys, he calls them rambunctious. Now, that's not necessarily a positive term. Rambunctious means hard to control, so you would think he would use a more positive or gentle word to describe them. The West's other 4 children were taken into protective custody by officials. I don't know if this is because of some evidence that was found or if it's just protocol. The 4 children have been interviewed, but the police have not stated what the outcome was of those interviews. They also haven't released the ages of the children. The only thing we know is that Orson and Orrin are the youngest of the 6. Police haven't released what or if they found anything on their cell phones, but the biological mom gave this interview following their disappearance.
They did something. I feel like they did something and they know something. They did something, and I feel my kids is somewhere around here. I can feel it. And I feel like they're in the house, and I feel like they did something.
Now, obviously, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, but it is not exactly looking good for the adoptive parents. It really seems as though the detectives are looking for bodies, rather than the boys being alive and well. The West claimed that they can't search and join the volunteers because the police told them to stay put. And they now have been getting threats. They say this is the main reason why they are not helping in the search for their sons. Footage of the neighbors' cameras have been released, and one was pointed at the West home the night the boys were claimed to have gone missing. Recall when Trezell said in his interview that the night that they went missing, he got in his car and he looked around the neighborhood. The neighbor's camera showed that his van did not move that night. Also, there's reports that Orrin had a fractured lower left leg, as I mentioned. I haven't been able to find out why or when this happened. It has been confirmed that the dogs did not pick up the boys' scent anywhere outside of the house, and I believe that also included the back patio where they were claimed to have been. So, this is the extent of the case. This is what we know so far, and it's just heartbreaking. If you have any info, please call 760-373-8606 or 911. So, my husband and I are going to have a discussion about this case and our thoughts and possible theories. So, welcome. So now that you've heard all about this case and all the details, what are your thoughts and theories? Because this is a bit of a really strange case.
The neighbors and the larger neighborhood never has seen the kids ever.
No one.
In those 3 months.
Not once.
Like, I get it's COVID times, I get it's lockdown times, but even then, especially when they're rambunctious,
As he says.
yes, they have to be out in the yard. They have a yard with a gate even, so they could easily be out in the yard playing.
Right.
And the neighbors would have seen it.
At least one person, one time, at least. Also, you have to go to grocery stores and other places,
You have to
and
live.
you would see the children. So that's
Yeah.
a huge red flag.
Especially when you're new into the neighborhood. Like, neighbors are curious.
They're gonna look.
They want to see who you are.
That's natural.
So yeah. So all these different things. Okay, so the main point with this is that if the neighborhood never have seen the kids anymore, how could a potential kidnapper in that neighborhood ever have seen the kids?
Good point.
So
It would have to be like freak timing, like they would happen to go by, no one else happened to be on the street to be a witness.
Yeah.
The kids were close and it could be done in 10 seconds.
exactly.
Because how, like you said, how would they even know that the boys existed?
Exactly. That's the thing. And
Crazy.
when we begin to go down these, let's call them chalk lines on the chalkboard, like when you begin to connect the dots, then it's weird when the dad, I don't know when he said it, the dad apparently drove up and down the neighborhood
Yes.
or on the street. But it was later found out that from the neighbor, I guess, or
Surveillance.
a surveillance camera never saw the car leaving his driveway, or what was it exactly?
Yeah, so the night that they were reported missing, Trezell in his interview claims to have gotten in his van and driven around the neighborhood to search for the boys. This has been debunked because the surveillance of the neighbors showed that that night the boys were reported missing, that the van did not move, and also it didn't pick up any evidence of them going outside, searching, no evidence of the boys. So that is kind of like the first concrete evidence that...
A concrete lie.
That shows that, okay, if they lied about this major piece of evidence, what else are they lying about?
Yeah, and also, why would you lie? Like, it's really, really weird on this. And,
No, exactly. This is when he's claiming that the boys went missing at this time. So they weren't missing. They were missing before this.
So they never told the police about the fractured leg.
Yeah.
And apparently now we also have heard that they legitimately lied. Like, not a white lie, a straight up lie.
Their whole story falls apart, basically.
Yeah. But again, this case is very, very early. I think it's, 3 weeks old?
2.5, the 21st. Yeah.
So lot of...
And they're not releasing a lot of info yet.
No. And that's the thing. Like, we need to know a lot of things to really get to the bottom of this. Yeah. For example, who are the parents specifically? Why did they move from, I think it was Bakersfield?
Oh, good question.
How was the parents' childhood? Like, were they abused?
Right.
Like, all these things.
What do their friends have to say about them?
Yeah. Why would you adopt 4 children when you already have 2 biological children?
Right.
That's not 100% out of the question. It could be that they have had problems in the past with conceiving.
Right.
And maybe they're high risk of some sort, so they just want to adopt also maybe to help other people.
Yeah, I think
so it's not fully out of the craziness, so to speak.
I agree. I think adoption, a lot of people from a young age know that they want to adopt, and I think it's a beautiful thing because so many children need homes. But why 4?
Exactly.
I really start to wonder if this was being done for monetary reasons, because in the U.S., as we know, you get it's like a subsidized income. Monthly
payment,
income.
Basically.
So, you don't want to think like that. That's dark. But I think it could be possible that some people really do this for
100%.
the money.
Especially in COVID times where, let's say you've been laid off, there are no new jobs opening. And also, let's just say, because we saw the house, and the house is not huge.
No.
Now, with 6 kids, there are 8 total in that house. That's a very loud home. And let's just say that the dad is working and the mom is at home.
Someone has to be.
Yeah, exactly. Taking care of the kids, which means that because of COVID times, or because the dad has to work from home, he has to be at home with 7 other people. It's gonna get loud. Now, if you are on the spectrum, or let's say you've been abused in your childhood, I get it's a big
assumption.
Assumption.
Right.
But if that was the case, then maybe you could have been pushed over the edge.
Oh, easily, and we've seen it time and time again during this lockdown.
Oh yeah.
Rates of absolutely everything have gone up. Exactly. Like you mentioned, domestic violence, murder, assault, abuse of every kind, drug use. No. So, you just...
It's a lot kind of going against them, and kind of...
It's not looking good.
Yeah, the kidnapping theory or theory B kind of narrows in and fizzles away a little bit. The only crucial evidence right now, as we know of, is that it happened so quick. That only makes sense in that regard, in a guy in a van quickly driving up, opening the van, grabbing the kids, and then driving away.
But this is if you believe their story. They live in the suburbs. Like, there are houses around. Someone likely would have seen something or heard the boy scream.
100%.
Also, okay, they're 3 and 4 years old, which means they're small. So let's say they did run out. It was dark outside by the time they had went missing. So they're African American. it's going to be a little bit difficult to see them in the dark unless there's like a huge street light, okay?
Oh, depends on
Absolutely.
on what they're wearing as well. And I believe the kids wore black
Exactly.
pants and
a black sweatshirt.
Yeah, so
Exactly. And also the fact that they're so small, like they're little children, like they're going to be lowered to the ground. Could it have happened? Sure.
yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
You know, likely not.
Yeah. At some point, you just have to look at the evidence and look at, let's just say, column A and column B, and look how much column A is kind of filling up with evidence rather than column B.
Right.
But I don't like to jump to conclusions, and it is what the wording like innocent until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look good for the parents. Let's just say that.
No. And even the biological mom came forward and said, like, there's something off.
Yeah.
I think we will get more information about her and her side of the story.
100%.
'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think she had contact with the adoptive parents, so she knows them a little bit more than, you know, the average person. So we'll see what she has to say.
Yeah, and also how is the household?
Honestly,
How is the domestic life? in there?
everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they're kind of the key to this.
Yeah, the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So, do you have anything else? Anything else to add
No,
in?
I went through all my notes here.
No, we have some notes. Honestly, it's just so sad that these boys really didn't have a chance from the get-go,
Yeah,
being in
it's-
foster care and then this.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it happens a lot.
Yeah, which is why, like I said, I've seen this type of case hundreds, maybe thousands of times, and it's typically, you know, it's somebody that the child knows. You know, this is just all too familiar, unfortunately.
No.
But so that's it. That's the discussion. Again, if you have any information, call 760-373-8606 or 911. And yeah, if there's any further updates, I will make some more videos. But thank you so much for watching.